Let's just settle into our meditation posture. And for the majority of you here, you've done that. This will be the third time you've done it, so I may just kind of whiz through it a bit so you don't have to listen to it all over again. So let's just settle. And wherever you've been today, just bring your mind to where your body is. Try and get them in the same place. And check your posture, starting at if the feet are down on the ground, just make sure they're in a parallel position with a cushion underneath. Other than that, in the regular sitting position with the shoulders over the hips, hands in the meditation mudra. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light. It stretches from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. And here you can just imagine this kind of light is filling you, but you're also being lengthened. And the head is slightly tipped forward and the eyes are down. Relax the jaw, tip of the tongue and the roof of the mouth. And let's just relax the body. It's really the scalp. It's so interesting to me how when you just let go of the top part of the scalp and the back of the scalp, how much of the face relaxes. And then you can do it a second time and it's still relaxing. So just check your own head and just notice which parts of the face sort of let go. And then relax the neck. Scan your back, your shoulders, and the front of the body. Just relax all those muscles. And then your limbs, hands and fingers, feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath, and as we notice the sensation of the air as you're breathing in, Halamudit, slightly warmer air as you're breathing out. And as I've been saying, depending whether you've actually done any single point of concentration in the Pali tradition, the 10-day Vipassana courses, and depending on the shape of the nose, you may notice a sensation or have been trained to notice a sensation in different places. I was trained to notice the sensation of the air flowing in at the base of the nose, some people at the tip. But just enough to notice for now, because we're not doing Vipassana, just to notice the air as it's flowing in. It's slightly cooler, slightly warmer as it flows out. And if you have any sounds, background sounds in your environment, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to engage. And the same with your thoughts. Try not to judge them, engage with the stories. Just let them come and go. And let's bring to mind all the people of our life. The ones we love. The ones that perhaps don't like us so much, and we don't really like them. And then the strangers. And remembering that they're all the same in their wish to be happy, their wish to avoid suffering. And this unbelievable potential for wisdom and compassion, kindness. This enlightened energy, which we all have the potential for, the seed for. So think, I'm going to do this Vajrasattva practice, this purification practice, for the sake of all these people in my life, and for all sentient beings, and for myself. So we're doing this practice in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And the first of these is regret. So just before we do that, just remind ourselves that There's nothing that we've done, it's so awful that it can't be purified. There is no negativity that cannot be purified. So just bear that in mind. And then think of something. Perhaps you had an interaction with someone today that wasn't very positive. Or you got angry about something. Maybe you got angry about something that you didn't have any control over. So then there's really no point to get angry when there's nothing you can do. Or maybe you accidentally stole a pencil from a store, or a stylus. They're using a lot of styluses now here in California. You go and you have a stylus and then you touch the credit card screen with the stylus. And sometimes one can walk out of the shop with it in one's hand. That's stealing. So no matter how small or big, just have a sense of regret. And the reason we regret is based on the logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past actions, our past karma. Having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And because we already understand the discomfort of suffering, we don't want to invite any more, so we logically, therefore, we are going to pull out these seeds before they ripen as our future suffering. And think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech. I've broken my vows. And I also regret all my delusions, the anger, the attachment and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I am sick of this suffering. So then who can I turn to? What can I do about it? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify ourselves. And we're not asking Guru Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're wanting to use his methods to heal ourselves, to purify ourselves. So visualize Vajrasattva above the crown of your head and imagine this is the mind of your Lama, your teacher, your Guru, if you have one, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. So it just makes it much, much more personal for us. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting in a cross-legged position on a white lotus, in the full lotus position, and a moon cushion. As his radiant, beautiful face and lotus-like eyes, and they're long and peaceful and looking at us with complete acceptance and love and compassion. And he has this sweet red mouth, and his hair is held up in a top knot on the crown of his head. And he's wearing the 5-pointed crown, which is embedded with jewels. And he's got this aura around his body, around his head. And he's wearing these silken robes, the celestial robes in the Royal Indian style. They're all just kind of floating in the wind. They're also made of light. And he's adorned with all kinds of jewelry and bracelets and armlets, necklaces, anklets, and a belt made of jewels. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a Vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I am enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So there's also a little section here on compassion. In order to develop compassion, we need to rely on other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So think, first of all, of someone you've maybe harmed. Maybe it's somebody you thought about earlier in the session. And you just develop a wish in your mind for them not to be hurt, for them not to suffer. Try and develop compassion for them. And then for people who have harmed us. And because of the harm that they've caused us, they are going to necessarily experience suffering in the future. So I think we're going to do this practice for their sake. Must purify for their sake. And for all the people of our life. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And it's the Vajrasattva mantra, the 100-syllable mantra. So we first of all, purification of the body, and Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar. It's like pouring out of a hose, very, very forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you and then forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And it pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dira Mebalwa Sutokaya Mebalwa Supokaya Mebalwa Anarakta Mebalwa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Karuhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. So the next is a purification of the speech. And you can imagine again Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters into you through your crown, and it pours into you and fills you up, except this time it pushes up to the top of the body, forces up to the top of the body all the negativities of your speech. So you can imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the lying and talking about others behind their back, getting other people to agree with you, is all kind of like pushed out of the top. It all overflows, all this kind of junk, this junk of our speech, and disappears into space as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine that it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So next is a purification of the mind. And so this time you imagine Guru Vajrasattva sending purifying white light from his heart, and it arcs around and pours into you through the crown of your head, and it fills you completely. And just imagine, in the same way as when you walk into a room and switch on a light, that light instantly dispels the darkness, doesn't it? So the moment the light from Guru Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart and fills you, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind is instantly dispelled. So all the depression and the anxiety and the grudges and the bitterness and the jealousy and the grasping, neediness, wanting things, unhealthy desire, all of this instantly dispelled by this light. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our delusions, the source of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think there is no way you could do anything now other than have in your heart space for bliss and love and wisdom and compassion and kindness. So next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. And so this time you can imagine light and nectar, and if you wish you can do the previous 3 visualizations of the body, speech and mind, maybe a couple of mantras for each one. Or just imagine light and nectar pouring in from Guru Vajrasattva's heart. It arcs around, pours into you through the crown of your head, and it fills you completely, and again eradicates, this time, even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hom Pe. Now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is such a crucial step in this purification process, is to make a decision about the way in which we harm. Basically what we're trying to do is to teach ourselves to refrain from harming others. So we just make a decision about something that we'd like to work on. Maybe it's something to do with your speech, or you bite your fingernails, or you accidentally pick things up that don't belong to you. LAMA YESHE calls stealing, taking the ungiven. So just think of something, maybe it's probably a habit. You know, we've been doing these things for endless great eon. So maybe we have the habit to swear all the time, or say things that upset our partner. So would you say, I'll refrain from that thing for 30 seconds or 5 minutes or an hour or overnight while I'm asleep? And really make a promise to ourselves, try to do something. Make a promise to yourself to do something that's actually attainable, that you won't sort of break the promise to yourself. So don't lie to yourself about what you think you might be able to do. Just make it something that's easy. Then you can build on it. And also remember, for those of you who've been doing this for a while, to rejoice in the progress that you're making. It's really encouraging. It's like, oh wow, last month I was doing X, Y, and Z, and now I'm not doing that quite so much. So just notice your progress and rejoice. Okay. So now, Guru Vajrasattva is delighted with us, and wanting to merge with your mind, he melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. And LAMA YESHE recommends that we meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. And in this way, we look at all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think of the way you view the world, the way you perceive the world, the way you read things, interpret things, may not necessarily be the way they actually truly exist. So the way things appear to you might not be how they actually in fact exist. It's good to just check that every now and then, because we have such a concrete view of the world. Okay, so let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honouring the three jewels, savour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. Well, there we go. Gone like a dream. Feels like we've been in retreat together today, haven't we? We've done 3 sessions. Very good, everyone. So lots of love. Thank you for joining, David. Nice to see you and welcome. And take care. Have a good weekend, everybody, and do stay safe. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you,